All right, everybody. Welcome to the 2023 Workstation Certification for Z by HP. My name's Lenny Isler, and I'm a global subject matter expert for data science, AI, machine learning, and deep learning. Today, we'll be going over our portfolio for data science. We'll be learning what is data science, the future of data science, how to identify our customers, and how to close opportunities. You'll see today that I'm sitting at a typical data scientist workstation in a hybrid station, like at their home or at their house. And today we'll be going over some of the things that they'll be looking for in their equipment and how we can help them. So sit back and relax and get ready to learn something today.
So first, let's go over what is data science. So you may have heard a lot of these terms thrown around: data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning. Well, this is a great way to kind of visualize what all of these terms mean. And as you can see, data science kind of uses all of the rest of the terms like AI, machine learning, and deep learning to extract actionable insights. And that's really the big key with data science, is we want to find actionable insights from data that we can do something with. Artificial intelligence is a subset of this, or used in data science. And really, artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science that's aimed at creating systems that can perform tasks that typically require a human to do. And there's several examples of that: robotics, natural language processing, computer vision, and different things like that. Machine learning is a subset of AI, or a subfield of AI, that focuses on enabling computers to learn from data without explicitly being programmed to do so. So as you can tell, whenever you're experiencing tons of data, machine learning can really help you to extract those insights as well. And that's why it's used and is part of data science. And deep learning is a subset of machine learning, where we use large neural networks to mimic parts of the brain to do different types of thinking. So image and speech recognition, large language models, deep forward networks, convolutional networks, different things like that. So that's a little bit to scratch the surface on what all of these terms are and how they're all kind of interconnected. The big thing is data science is used for actionable insights. AI is, mimicking some human actions. Machine learning is learning from data without explicitly being told to do so. And deep learning is mimicking parts of the brain to do further types of AI and machine learning. And we see this today kind of everywhere. And, a couple of big examples of that would be like ChatGPT, DALL-E 2, different things like this, text summarizations. We've seen self-driving. You may have gone to the doctor and, went through an MRI or some sort of medical imaging where machine learning and AI were used. So we see these type of things all over the place. So as I was talking about before, in data science, we're really trying to unlock insights, or get these actionable insights. And this is kind of the typical workflow of a data scientist. And the big thing to look at here, and the big thing to recognize, is the circular nature of the workflow. So we identify objectives, right? We prepare the data, we build a model, we deploy it, and we gather those actionable insights. Well, generally, when you gain some of those actionable insights, you identify other objectives that can be found. And that's why this is a circular nature, because as we answer questions, or as we gain these insights, we see the potential for further insights to be gained, or further refinement of the insights that we just looked at. So the big thing to think about there is the very circular nature of the data science workflow. So who are data scientists? So a data scientist models and visualizes data, to help get those actionable insights. An analyzer, data analyst reviews, interprets, and communicates that type of things. They help discover patterns, trends, and relationships in data to help inform business decisions. A data engineer is going to help to build the data infrastructure that everybody's using. A machine learning ops engineer will help to deploy the models in the cloud as well as locally. And you may even see low code, no code subject matter experts that help simplify these outputs to make gathering these insights a lot better or a lot easier. So let's look a little bit further into some of these personas. So our focus end users like Wes and Jamie, our data scientists and data analysts, we've talked about before, discovering and creating, right? Discovering these actionable insights, cleaning, processing, training, and inferencing models, analyze, report, and interpreting, right? We see these emerging personas with data engineers, these ML ops analysts, and low code, no code SMEs, right? And a data engineer, pipeline creation and management, they construct. ML ops analyst deploys, right? So they're deploying a model somewhere. And a no code, low code SME organizes and processes data for broader organizational use. Okay. Some of the customer pain points that inform our product focus and solution offerings are exploratory data analysis. And that's the process of analyzing and understanding data in order to identify patterns, relationships, and trends. And we've talked a little bit about that in a couple of different personas and use cases. Model building, right? So when model building involves selecting and preparing data, choosing an appropriate algorithm or technique, and then developing a model to predict or explain a target variable. So whether that's counting spots on a leopard is one that I use that's kind of funny, but we're creating a model or a little algorithm that's going to do something or help us in some way. It's going to find a pattern, it's going to find spots on a leopard, it's going to recognize a cat versus a dog, different things like that. Model training is the process of using data to train a model and adjust its parameters in order to optimize its predictive power, right? So as we, create a model, very rarely is it perfect on the first time. So very rarely can it count all the spots on a leopard, right? Most of the time we have to train and iterate and train this model over and over and feed it more and more data in order for it to be more refined and get closer to the predictive power that we're looking for. So what are some of the Z by HP data science solutions? So the Z by HP data science solutions accelerate data science workflows, helping data scientists to be more productive and efficient. And we do this in a couple of different ways. One, with the hardware that we have, two, with the operating systems that we have, and three, with some of the preloaded software that we offer. We're also equipped with a lot of the things that make Z by HP, like our multi-layered security and our other solutions like HP Anywhere. And the big thing here is our data science workstations are purpose-built for data science. We perform extensive testing on the curated software with actual workflows. So let's look at some of the hardware here. I'm not going to go into great detail in each one of these machines, but I think the big point to make here is how we can help data scientists in many ways. All the way from our Z2 Mini to our Z8 Fury G5, we can help with model building, model training. Z2 Mini is a great place to deploy a model. So, from model deployment, even the Z4 Racked G4 is another place where we can do, model deployment. And then we can help with model evaluation, machine learning, pattern recognition. And then as we get into the bigger units and the larger GPUs, we can do deep learning, natural language processing, complex pattern recognition. So whatever the customer needs, we definitely have the hardware to help them with that. We'll take a little bit deeper look at some of the hardware that's in there, some of the things to call out that are important to data scientists. So GPUs and GPU acceleration or hardware acceleration is very, very important, but so is CPU and CPU memory. So we'll generally see higher clock speed, CPUs being the ones that are needed, and then larger amounts of RAM and then higher speed RAM, coupled with the NVIDIA RTX graphics cards. And those graphics cards are the ones that have the CUDA cores and tensor cores that are important for those large neural networks and for hardware acceleration. So as we can see, as we move up the line, we get more cores, larger GPUs, and then we get into multiple GPUs and things like that. And one thing to call out on the Z6 G5, it says 3 high-end GPUs. That's in countries with 200-volt power supplies and above. If you're in the US, that'll be 2 high-end GPUs on there. If you need more than that, move up to our Z8 Fury G5. Similar story on the notebook side. So all the way from our ZBook Firefly, all the way to our ZBook Fury. Depending on what the workload is and what the task is, we definitely have the customer covered. Our ZBook Firefly is great for model building and that, exploratory, really starting put your program together, your code together. It's also a great machine to remote into one of the desktops that we just talked about as well via HP Anywhere. Then as we move up the stack here, we'll see that we get more and more hardware capabilities like GPUs and larger processors, more RAM capability. And these help with the more complex tasks like statistical models, data visualization, data analysis, machine learning, inferencing, deep learning, all of the things that we talked about before. And then we'll take a brief look here at what is powering all of this data science on these different things. So the Firefly is great for that initial model building and the initial programming. It's also great for connecting to a desktop as well. There's some of the specs on that. In the power, with Intel Core and AMD, there's a lot that can be done in the data science world with the ZBook Power. And then as we move up to the Studio and the Fury having, 128 gig of RAM, and, that's really the no exceptions there. And these all use the new Intel Raptor Lake processors. And here's another look at all of the different graphics cards and configurations that we offer in our units there. And, the big thing that's important is, the amount of GPU memory, or you might hear people call it VRAM. How big of a platter do I have to use for my workflow, right? So as you can see, from the A4500 to the 5000, we start to move up in that GPU memory. And we also move up in CUDA cores is the other important part for data science there. But as we move up to the new Ada 6000, 48 gigs of GPU memory or VRAM, then we'll see a lot of people have stacked 2 of these together for 96 gig of GPU memory. And then in our Z8 Fury, you can put 4 of these new Ada A6000s in there for 192 gig of VRAM, which this will train very large models and do lots of deep learning. So you can put a lot of those together and do some really complex training and different workloads with that. So as you can see, again, from the different workstations that we have, all the way to the partnership with NVIDIA here, to the different types of graphics cards that we have that can help support each of these data science workflows. That really leads us into more of the Z Advantage and what do we offer on top of that? What are we doing for our data scientists on top of that? And one of the opportunities that we see with our customers is helping them with the operating system. And this is something that our data scientists run into every day. A lot of the innovation and a lot of the cool things being done within data science happen within Linux, and a good portion of it happens within Ubuntu, which presents some problems in environments that are strictly a Windows environment or a different environment. So how can we help support bringing in another operating system? So there's a couple of different ways that we do that. So we work with Canonical, who are the purveyors of Ubuntu, and we make sure that all of our units are certified to run Ubuntu on them. So that's the native operating system they want, both on our desktops and our mobiles. And we can have Ubuntu 20.04 and 22.04 preloaded on the machine and ready to go right out of the box, which is great in the environments where that is acceptable. But more and more we find that a lot of places are Windows only, and bringing in Linux seems to be a challenge, not only for the data scientists, but also for the IT department that's trying to support them. So that's why we worked with Microsoft and brought in a preload of their Windows subsystem for Linux. And what you can do with Windows subsystem for Linux is provide those Linux tools, especially through Ubuntu, all under the guise of Windows. So you can still do all of your Windows productivity, all of your management security through Windows and all of that, but you're able to provide a full kernel Linux to those users that need it. And what that looks like is the next advantage from Z by HP, which is our preloaded software stack. So our preloaded software stack is available on Ubuntu 20.04 and 22.04, as well as if you have WSL2 with Ubuntu, we preload all of this stuff, including Ubuntu, on the machine directly from the factory, or you can install it from our website that's located here. And this includes different libraries like TensorFlow, PyTorch, scikit-learn that are used for machine learning and deep learning, or specific ones from NVIDIA like Rapids, programming languages like Python 2 and 3, and even R, developer tools, right? So you need a place to actually program in Python. So we include that preloaded, containers, the drivers, the CUDA toolkit, the container toolkit that you need for that, as well as we offer cloud interoperability. So you can have a command line interface to integrate with any of these three cloud providers, all included free of charge in our preloaded software stack. And again, this can be preloaded on a mobile workstation or on a desk side workstation, or you can install it on select Z systems by going to this website right here. All of the installation instructions are there. The big thing that this does for our end user data scientists is this helps them get going on day one. So instead of having to go find all of this stuff themselves from wherever, whatever source it happens to be, they can download it all and get all of the tools that they need from a trusted source. And we help to do version control and management with frequent package updates and library updates. So really help to get them started, but to keep them going with version control and different things like that. So as you can see, all the tools that they need, from the OS to the drivers to containers, libraries, languages, developer tools. So let's talk about a couple customer use cases. So in the government, we might see data analysis, and we might see a government agency uses AI to analyze data gathered, and they might use machine learning to help find patterns. The Z4 desktop generated analysis is used to adjust heating, cooling, and lighting to minimize their energy footprint. In finance, we might see fraud detection coupled with analytics, Z4 and Z6 desktops for investment analytics and analysis and fraud detection, resulting in faster local computing for more iterative and creative outcomes. In manufacturing, we might see a ZBook Fury paired with the cloud to help an automotive company model a match set to optimize production and reduce excess and obsolescence. So let's hear from some customers. First one we'll talk to is Scott Lee from SciArc. Every time something is not perfect on the Titan, you have to do further refinement. But to be able to get those results after 5 hours initially with the Z8 was kind of mind-blowing, right? So going from what they used to have to a Z8 now, and having that much power was mind-blowing. I'm now able to store the dozens of terabytes of data I need locally and have it available all at once for statistical analysis. And I can do so by leveraging either CPU-based or GPU's parallelism without worrying about a monthly cost of a cloud-based solution. And that's where you can read a blog article if you look this up or Google it. We've done lots with NASA and helping them with our Z8 and do a lot of this analysis that Raphael here is talking about. And then Bill Sherrington from the Red Rocks Community College here in Colorado. The Z8 affords our students access to cutting edge hardware and industry software tools. It allows Red Rock Community College to introduce data science concepts, computational mathematics, and cutting edge research without additional student cost or the need to outfit classrooms with additional hardware. In terms of the machines we have available, the Z8 is probably the most powerful single machine. We hear that quite a lot. That's from our Soul machines. And last but not least, if we had 4 more hours in the evening to finish the process, we would have to work overtime until the calculations were complete to avoid unnecessary expensive with hourly loans. But with the Z8 in hand, if the same situation arises, we can simply look at the results first thing in the morning so we don't have to work overtime. So this enables a good work-life balance. And that's from our good friends over at Vinx. And we do have all of these case studies, so you can read more about all of these different customers available on our data science webpage.
All right, and now that we've seen the future trends of data science and all of the opportunities that we can look forward to in the future, I hope that you have the skills to go out there and have a very positive conversation with your customer, and at the end of the day, close the deal. With that, thank you from Z by HP, and I'll see you next time.